Assalamu alaikum. This is another episode of JAMS Football Power Rankings and more. And today we are featuring the captain, Mr. Furrukh from the Canes, the U, the defending champs.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor and pleasure.
So, with that being said, we're going to move right into the power rankings. And it is certainly an interesting week, coming off some big games. In fact, you guys just came off of a thrilling win against a team that has one win on the season.
Well, I'm glad I took my blood pressure medicine in the beginning of the day because they gave us a run for the money. Started out fast, a bomb to start the game, a second play, and then pick six to the house, 12-0 real quick.
And was your pick six because they ran the full length of the field?
And they being the Spartans, of course.
84 yards, I think.
Wow. That is certainly, and if from what I heard, you can correct me if this is wrong, but they were on the 4-yard line at the end of the game, driving in, about to punch it in and tie up the game.
That is correct.
That's correct.
Yep.
And you guys made a stop at the end. Was it like fourth down or did time expire?
No, it was fourth down.
It was fourth down. Wow. So certainly a clutch win, coming down 12 points, reeling off 18 straight. But that's what good teams do. And bad teams seem to find a way to lose. I'm not necessarily calling the Spartans bad, but I'm just saying good teams find a way to win, bad teams find a way to lose. That's just how it goes. But anyway, let's get right into our power rankings. So with that being said, as we said, good teams find a way to win. Doesn't matter if it's against a one-win team. That's why we still have the Hurricanes at number 1.
Well, they honestly still deserve it. Still undefeated, still putting up points, still stopping other teams, as evidenced by that fourth down stand. There's not much else left to say about them.
Yep. What else can you really say? I think maybe some guys on your team would like you to say something, maybe.
First of all, this is as per my team. Just wanted to thank you for picking us against Swag. No offense, that was but it could have gone either way. We're just we take it 1 week at a time and try to just execute every play to perfection. Doesn't always work like that, and just grind it out. We know the league has been more competitive, and they will continue to be. And when they play the top teams, they're coming to bring it to us, and we just have to play well.
Wow, I didn't know we were interviewing Peyton Manning today. That's a quality answer from a champion right there. And yeah, listen, it's nothing personal. I didn't pick, I just thought that they were the better team, and I was proved wrong. So nothing to say about that. If you guys were to play again, I would pick you.
Just know I had your back for first 5 or 6 weeks. It was him picking the Union.
Yeah.
Tell your team that too.
We might have a jersey.
Hey, but listen, let's not act like I
No, there was debate. There was debate.
And then you said, you know what? Yeah, you're right. You said something. Like
Okay,
that.
yeah.
So
I eventually did cave in. The Union gave up 6 points over the past 3-4 weeks, or over the first 3-4 weeks, I should say.
Yeah.
It's good to be under the radar sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I think it keeps you humble.
All right.
Yeah. But anyway, just for those who are out there and might not know the history of this league, me and Furrukh were having some conversation, and I had actually heard this before. Always, in the regular season, the team that wins, Union versus Hurricanes, seems to be the loser in the playoff matchup.
That is correct.
So, who
It's
knows?
interesting.
Who knows? Will that change this year? Will they meet in the playoffs this year? Who knows? But anyway, Swag, we have them at number 2.
Coming off an easy win against the Gamebreakers.
Yeah.
They won 20-8.
We thought it might have been worse.
Yeah, I think someone said there was a 30-point spread or something.
Well, I said I think they're going to win big, and you're like,
Yeah.
You said how big? And I said I wouldn't be surprised if it was 30 points. So.
Mm-hmm. All right, so you played Swag. How do you feel about them?
Great team, talented, both sides of the ball. You guys have talked about the trio: Moss, Manny, D'Lo. We think we have a good trio too, but that's a little plug from one of Sea Monster wanted me to plug that in. But no, they're offensively sound. Defensively they play very well, and they've been there. They've given us fits since the inception.
Mm-hmm. And is this their 3rd year in the league or 4th? Swag.
I want to say it's I think it's their 4th.
Okay.
But no, it is their 4th, I think.
So they've been around for a little while now, not as quite as long as you guys, but nonetheless, they've had their time to gel together and stuff. Okay, so with that being said, at 3 we have the Union, no shocker with the top 3, nothing at all. How could you not have them there? You know, like we said before, beginning of the show, good teams find a way to win. And we were talking last week, I got all high because I saw VS play Union well in a game that they could have won, but they didn't win. And you know what? Union keeps finding a way to win because they're a good team.
I picked Code Red last week as my upset alert against the Union. It didn't really pan out. I don't know how close the game was.
I think it was one score game.
Yeah, the final score was 20-12, so it could have been anything. It could have been like garbage time touchdown, or it could have been just a close game throughout. So,
but nonetheless, they found a way to win. So Union at 3, no shock there. At 4, same exact as last week. We got the Knights.
The Knights.
You're coming off a fresh game against the Knights.
You know what? One thing that's impressed me about the Knights is that their new team, they don't really play like it. They have a really good defense, a strong offensive line. Their offense...
Strong defensive line as well.
Oh, yeah, very strong defensive line. Their offense could move the ball better, but they still, basically whooped us. They score on offense, defense, and special teams against us.
Yes. And one thing that we both have noticed over the past 2 weeks, because I played them 2 weeks ago, you played them last week, they scored a punt return touchdown against you. And they came this close to scoring one against us. And I think special teams is a really underrated thing in this league. You know, I think you guys have been known for having good kick returns for touchdowns and things like that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they've declined for the last few years, but now, what it is that, when you do get a good kickoff or good punt, it's field position.
Yeah.
So, we've been fortunate enough to do that, but, we've had a couple of the Tennessee Miracle throwbacks and things like that, and but yeah, I mean because we always have some athletic people, speedy, good blocking and things like that. So it always helps us getting our offense started.
Yeah, and it's a big play league. So if you can bring one of those kicks back for a touchdown, it obviously can change the momentum of the game dramatically. And it seems like that is what the Knights did against you guys, and they almost did it to us as well, which could have really changed the game around. So anyway, Knights at 4. 5, we have Dime City.
Another young team, another new team, and they're also exceeding expectations.
Yep. In fact, you had said, and I quote you on the show last week, Casey, you don't have a good arm. He goes out and he throws 3 touchdowns and then shoves it in your face in the forum.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't personally see the game, but hey, maybe those were easy passes. I'm hoping they're easy passes.
I don't know. He had 111, I think, QB rating. So.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's not looking good for me.
I think he was wearing a Cowboys beanie hat too.
He usually wears a Cowboys bandana, I think. He is a Cowboys fan.
Okay.
So.
That's interesting. All right. But anyway, Dime City, respect to them. They found a way to win. It was close. I watched about half of that game, and I think it was tied up at halftime against the Gladiators. And I guess they found a way to pull ahead at the end. And then 6, we have Code Red.
A team coming off a loss. I still don't think that they're that strong of a team. They haven't been for basically this entire season. They have attendance issues. I don't think they have the same skill level of players.
Yeah,
So
I've seen the skill level personally go down. Furrukh, you guys played them and actually beat them handily this year. How did that game play out? Were you impressed by them? What did you see when you played them?
I mean, like I said, I think there may have been some attendance issues, even though they had a full team, maybe some people playing out of position. But I think we had a good day against them. But overall, they've given us, actually, other than Union, they've given us more fits than any other team. When Haarris, before his injury, we used to run it was like a track meet going after him and things like that. So and then when Sheikh took over, even with Omar, I think we probably played our best game of the season that day. But I think that if they do get the attendance right and things like that, I think they can make a strong run for the playoffs.
Okay, absolutely, and I don't disagree with that because I do think that Omar is a very quality quarterback. All right, 7, we have the Titans, who are shown some signs of life over the past 3 weeks. Got some kind of offense going, something worth speaking about. 2-3 over the last 3 games, and also close one to the Knights. And I actually did not feel comfortable putting us at 7, but you guys kind of you felt that we should be at 7.
Well, last week you guys went up against, I believe, the MVP. I always forget this. I forgot this last week against Shea.
Yeah.
You guys on the box score beat them 16-6. I want to know what happened to you guys over the past 2-3 weeks where your offense starts to score a bit more.
I think it's just more so having less predictability in terms of the plays and just having put together some kind of plays that are just better in my opinion. It's a different kind of league. Certain plays that might work in high school football or what have you aren't going to necessarily work in the flag league that is 1st and 20 to get a first down. So I think it's a matter of play selection and just I think you're finally starting to see some chemistry build between the receivers. And I think that's really helped contribute to having a little bit more success on offense. You still obviously want to see a lot more than what we have had, though.
So, all right. So let's move on to our number 18, which is the Gladiators.
That's correct. Fresh also lost to Dime City, and I said last week on the show that I think that they might be reeling, and it's another loss to another team, and the Gladiators played you guys in the championship a couple years ago.
Yep.
I think in the second ever JAMS League championship, maybe where that shirt is from actually.
No, actually it was third.
Third, okay.
Yeah, third, because the Union had won the first 2.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is from there, and at that time Rodney was at the helm at QB, and they had another very good, was offensive and defensive player, athletic. He's not in the league anymore. He moved away. Collis fan. He was Rodney and Collis were actually on our team that same season, but due to some issues, they had gone to the Gladiators. So it was ironic that we faced them in the championship game. But no, you have Tank and Waleed and Khalid and Tyre and things like that. They're a very strong team all the time. And I think it's just the quarterback situation. And in this league, if you don't have a quarterback, it's really hard to win.
Who is their starting quarterback?
So
we still don't know.
It's Brian Linden. I saw him play this past week, and it seems that he's been playing since week 3 about. But he's not. He's a great player. But I don't think that quarterback's his natural position. He looks to run first, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, to be honest, I don't think Rodney's natural position was quarterback. He also, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like he was always more of a runner than a thrower. So.
And I don't think I saw Rodney there this past weekend.
I haven't seen him.
I think he's been kind of.
What happened to the gentleman with the blonde hair, like the 6'2" guy?
So that guy's out Tampa. I actually played against him in high school.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure. Maybe it seems like things didn't necessarily work out with him, and I think they were 0-2 with him as a starter, and maybe they just felt that they could be better elsewhere. I'm not quite sure. Interesting story. We actually tried to get Al Tampa to play on our team last year, GPAC. I tried recruiting him, and he declined. So maybe it was maybe it was a good thing that he declined, though. Anyway, so at 9 we have Mr. Haarris' VS.
This is a game where I'd honestly say that we got smacked. It wasn't a good game. I mean,
pouring rain, right?
It was pouring rain. By the time we got to the field, the sun wasn't even close to being up. We had to wait another half hour or so before we could actually see the ball. It was just a tough game. It was hard to snap the ball. It was hard to throw the ball. It was hard to catch the ball on both sides, on our side and on the Knights. So it just was a pretty game. I do think we're a better team than our record shows, but
I would agree with that.
Until we actually rack up more wins, it's tough to say what we are really.
I agree with that, and I think one of your guys' biggest problems is converting in the red zone.
That was part of it, definitely.
Yeah, and I didn't see this game from this past week, even though I know it is public, but I just, from seeing the games that I've seen you guys play, and even our own game, that's an issue that you guys had. But anyway, so at 10 we have Spartans, who actually, even though they're coming off a loss, jumped up in the rankings this week. And they're coming off a game against Furrukh's Hurricanes, in which, as we said, they jumped them 12-0 and played them extremely tough. And you had, before we got on camera, had spoken about some of the talent that they have.
Oh yeah, I mean, 00, Omar, he made a phenomenal diving catch. I think he hurt himself. It was a great catch. Number 5, Shaddy, I believe, is coming off an injury, but he was a big play receiver for the last couple of years and things like that.
And defensive back. I think he led the league in
He's
interceptions last year.
And they play one-man safety, and that's hard to do, and he covers a lot of ground. But shout out to Tariq, number 99, and Khalil, number 75. There's some big boys on the line. So, and I think Islam, who was a running back and now is playing quarterback, which you could tell because I think he's like, now I think this year is the first year where the quarterbacks are leading the league in rushing, because it's either because maybe the league isn't running as much, and we used to run a lot and we're not running as much either. But no, I think the Spartans definitely are better than what the record indicates.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Even we haven't played them yet, but just seeing what they have done in previous years, and I know that a lot of guys on our team are very good friends with a lot of guys on the Spartans, so no doubt that they have talent. Anything else about them?
I have nothing much else to add.
Okay.
I think we play them this week. Hopefully we don't see the good version. But
Hopefully you see the 20-0 loss to Boonton version.
Hopefully.
All right, which brings us, nice segue, to Boonton, who comes off a 20-0 loss against the Spartans, who we just said is a better team than what their record says. And then they go out and lose to the Titans, 16-6 last week. And this team, I think that they're on the rise. I think the quarterback switch is going to be good for them. But with that being said, I don't know that they're going to make the playoffs this year. Maybe they will. I don't think that they'll make any noise as they did last year. I just think that they lost too many good players, and I think they need their lines are not as offense and defense are not as strong as they need to be. And I think it's going to take some more time before Shake builds chemistry with his receivers.
Well, they've had a huge collapse. Last year they were in the championship game. This year they're fighting for the last one of the playoffs. So, do you see much of a difference between, or what do you think is the biggest difference between last year's team and this year's team?
Kyle and I were talking about before, 00, I believe his name is Rich Ozunu, if I pronounced it wrong, I'm sorry. He was a monster on the line. Then you had Nick Musab.
Just a quick comment about Rich. I remember we thought that when we scrimmaged Boonton in the preseason, we thought that he might be on the team this year. And Ahmed Furrukh, our captain, was like saying that they have this guy, he's 00 or whatever, and he was like talking about how he's like 240 with 0.00001% body fat. He was just shredded.
And runs a 4.2, so he's not there. Nick was big for them on the D line, is also the tight end, because they like to do those quick outs and quick screens to the tight ends, which they're kind of missing at the moment. I mean, they saw Brandon, Ardell, now with Shake, and someone that was always a good receiver, Haarris, with Code Red.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he was one of the top guys. So I just think the offensive and defensive line is the main reason why a little bit of a decline. So
Yeah, I'm not sure what number 2. He's got a brother who's number 7. I think they're.
number 1.
You sure? No, 2 and 7. I don't know if they're twins, but they look a lot alike.
Well, that's Haroon's brother.
That's Haroon's brother.
Yeah.
He's good, number 2.
Yeah.
He ran a lot of how do you say it, I don't know, not like an out route.
Out route. So.
And he was doing some work against us. So, and he scored a TD. So props to him. Shout out to him. 12, we're gonna have the Gamebreakers. They've been at this rank, I think, pretty much all season. No difference.
Well, they're a struggling team. They've been a struggling team for the past, ever since I've been in the league.
I think one thing I can say about them is I see the same core guys coming out week in, week out, and those guys seem like they're playing hard. And one thing, I saw that they have a guy who's got 11 interceptions on the season.
Yeah.
Are you so sure that's not like a statistical anomaly?
No.
11 is quite a bit.
Yeah, and this I checked these.
Brandon?
His name is Brandon.
Yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but the next highest person had 5, so he had more than double. The next highest
Young,
person.
talented team. Very,
They do have talent. There's just, as we said before, something with disorganization, and I don't know. We don't know the answer. What's right? How to fix it. And I don't know if we want to tell them how to fix it, because we want to win and we don't want them to take a playoff spot from us. But
I think they're a team that's more in it to like have fun than to actually like seriously compete for like playoff spot.
We played against them, and I think we beat them pretty handily. And even towards the end, when we were up a few touchdowns, they wanted to play for competitive. And
Okay.
even though, that I would have to agree with. But sometimes what happens is people because I've heard them say they've come from other leagues, so to get kind of used to this league and things like that. Like you said, it's a big play league. Sometimes 1st and 20, your eyes get open. You want to go for the deep play, and then all of a sudden you have 2 or 3 downs. Rather than trying to get that 6-7 yards on the first down. So.
Yeah. Sometimes it's definitely tough when you get behind in the down and distance. And yeah, I will say that they did play hard the entire game against us because we ended up tying them week 1, and they did not want the game to end. I will say that. All right, so let's move on to the pick'em for this week. We're going to go through each matchup, and I will say who I think will win a particular game. Furrukh and Haarris will do the same, except when our own teams play, we will not choose to pick that game. Okay, so our first game, Haarris, is who?
We're starting off with Saturday morning game, Boonton Bounty Hunters against the Knights. And well, to be honest, I just don't see the Bounty Hunters overcoming the Knights defensive line. They have one guy who's gigantic. His name is Umar Yusuf, I believe. Number 7. He's 6'7", about 250 pounds, and he's a young kid. I went to school with him. He just graduated, and I've always seen him at the gym. So the guy has a lot of talent. He's a little raw, but he's pushing the pocket and doing the work.
Yeah, and he definitely plays hard for sure. But he's not playing this week, correct?
He had a pretty bad injury.
On the rumor mill. This is on the rumor mill.
Yeah, on the rumor mill. So, when we came for our game, it looked like he was getting some stitches done. So.
Yeah. So you watch our show, maybe you get an inside scoop on, some advice for your team this week. So Boonton, hey, maybe you want to exploit that matchup. But anyway, again, we don't know. We don't have. That's not necessarily confirmed, but he had a pretty bad cut, so maybe he's not playing. And he also had a cut on his leg when we played them, which seemed like that was a reoccurring issue. So anyway, I'm going to go with the Knights as well. But I'll tell you what, though, I wouldn't be shocked if Boonton was able to win. But I'm going to go with the Knights. I just feel more comfortable with that pick.
Or?
I'm going to go with the Knights, too, only because we played both teams. Obviously, Shake brings a different dimension, no doubt about that. But, it's an 8 o'clock game. Who's going to show up on time? Who's going to show up at all? I can tell you one thing, the Knights will probably be there at 6 a.m. because
hey, they were ready for us. They were ready with a full squad for us.
Exactly. So that makes a difference. And, the chemistry, the defense, found the offensive groove and things like that. So I'll take the Knights.
Yeah.
Alright, it's a clean sweep. I got the Knights as well. And I guess the only thing I've left to add is a special shout out to Josh Gordon. He's their running back and wide receiver, and apparently for one game also their quarterback. The guy could do it all. Caught a touchdown and a pick against us. So
Really? I did not know that he played quarterback. I do know that their captain played quarterback.
I'm just going off the statistics. So.
Oh, okay.
Alright, so second game of the weekend. Hurricanes versus the Union. Easily the game of the week, I would say.
I would agree with that, and I think that Furrukh would as well. And we had just spoken about this, alluded to it earlier in the show, that maybe we can't read too much into this matchup. Or maybe we can, but history has shown that whoever wins this game is not going to win the playoff matchup between the two.
Not only that, it's not going to win the championship.
Obviously losing the playoffs, that's a given. So, I don't know, maybe you guys should take the L. I'm just kidding. No one's going to do that. But it's a tough one. But how could I really go against the Hurricanes at this point? They proved me wrong, so I'm going to go with the Hurricanes.
To be honest, I think the Hurricanes, as terrible as it sounds, for us at least, they improved. It's hard to keep improving on a championship team, but they did. They brought in like 3 or 4 other new guys, a few from the Outlaws, one from GPAC, who's a 50 runner, Black Mamba. And
Our quarterback?
Oh yes, of course, the quarterback. And the Union, I just don't think they're as good. Like, we kept it close with them. I don't think they're overly physical on the offensive or defensive line. I just don't think the Union are as good as they have been in the past few years.
And I would agree with that, too. With all due respect, and the Union whooped us, so but I think that was a lot of our
I'm not
own
going to
doing.
pick the game, but I'll tell you one thing: Union's going to be ready for us. Right now, they're talking about what they're going to do. That's all I'm going to say, and that's because I have the utmost respect for them, and so do the rest of my team.
As you should, as you should. All right, so let's move on. Gamebreakers, Gladiators. And I said Gladiators is reeling.
But at the same time, they're playing the worst defense in the league by far. I think they have like 30 points up on the next team.
More so than Gamebreakers' defense being bad, their offense is worse.
The offense is even worse than the defense.
Gamebreakers, yeah.
Ugh.
How many points have they put up all year? Maybe in the 20s?
Well,
I
20
think
of that came against us. So.
They might have gotten shut out in every game except for your game and last week's game. I'm not positive about that. I know they didn't score against us, and I know they've gotten shut out many other times. But anyway, so make your pick. I interrupted you.
Gladiators.
What do you think, George? I'm going to go with the Gladiators as well.
All right. So far it's been a sweep for all 3 games. I don't know how I like that, but all right. Moving on. The first Sunday game, 8:30 a.m. Swag versus Code Red, which would have been like a marquee matchup if it was like last year or the year before. Not so much now.
Yeah. Code Red, for the first couple weeks of the season last year, they started, 6, 7, and 0, something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
They're undefeated for a long time. I just remember that much.
And them beating us 28-0, 32-0, something like that.
They beat us 8-7.
Wow. But yeah, Code Red, as we said before, they're a little bit of a different team this year. I think they're a little weak on the line, attendance issues, what have you. Swag is obviously, they've been number 2 and even number 1 in our power rankings 1 week. So how could I pick against Swag? I'm going with Swag.
It's hard to pick against Swag. It's in Riverside County Park. I think they're home field. 8:30 game, like you said, with the Code Red's particular attendance issues. I mean, Code Red really has to bring the A game to beat them. So I'm going to go with Swag.
Well, it's funny that you bring up Code Red's attendance issues. I mean, that's, at this point, I think it's a well-known thing. But what we haven't really touched on is Swag's attendance. They are always there. I think they've had the same 4 or 5 linemen over the past couple of years. One of them being my former landlord, Joe Rodriguez.
Yeah,
So,
I heard about that.
so there's that. And, well, every week you see D'Lo, you see Manny, and you just see the same offensive linemen.
Although-
And defense. Phil as well.
I've seen Manny show up late to a game.
Oh, so
The
played.
Union game.
I noticed that.
The Union game.
It's a pretty big one to show up late to. But it happens, though. I showed up late to, 2 games this year. So Sundays are a little tough for me sometimes. But anyway, I know how that is. So we're all going with Swag on this one, correct?
The greatest show on turf for JAMS League. That's the way I think of them as.
Wow.
They got good running back. They got great receivers. Good passing game.
It's hard to argue against that.
Yeah.
It's a good analogy. I like that. All right, Spartans versus VS.
I, of course, abstained from this one.
What do you think? I'm going to let you go
Yes.
first on this one.
I'm going with the Spartans.
He's going with the Spartans,
Wow.
fresh off of the tough win that you guys grinded out against them. So obviously the respect is there for you. But hey, let's not forget that VS played you guys tough as
They
well.
played us tough.
How many times did they intercept you guys? 3 or 4 times?
At least 3, yeah.
Yeah, I mean they played you guys well. And I think again, I remember watching that film. I think you guys got in the red zone a couple times and just didn't convert, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
There was a
usual
questionable call on one of them.
Oh, yeah. I'm actually happy you admit that. So basically, our receiver had the referees ruled it as a drop, but he caught it, rolled it around a bit, and then the ball finally came out. So, well, it's okay. Game's over.
Wow. Anyway, I'm gonna go with the Spartans on this one.
Ouch.
Yeah,
Ouch.
I don't know. I mean, it's 4 in a row for you guys,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know. I think Spartans due for a win. I think they're hungry.
They do seem like it after the last game. Actually, when interestingly enough, I think I was talking to Omar right before the Hurricanes game, and I asked, "Who are you guys playing today?" And then he responds, "You mean who are we gonna beat today?" So seems like they are excited to play.
It's ironic. We're 1-1 against them, I believe, in this league, and the only team to ever shut us out in 5 years is the Spartans.
But those were also the old Spartans team.
Still Spartans though. They have a lot of the core guys are the same.
They do also give up the third most points in the league, so.
Yeah. I mean, it's a different team, no doubt, but they have some pieces there that can lead to wins. Let's just put it that way.
I guess when we find out on Sunday.
Well, we'll find out on Sunday, inshallah, God willing. Anyway, all right. So lastly, we have the Titans, my team, versus Dime City.
I like this matchup. I really do. They're two strong defensive teams. Playmakers on both sides at the receiver, running back level. New teams, of course. And very, very... No, actually, no. This isn't still the Jersey game. That was against the Knights. But either way, you guys match up very well. You guys are very similar to each other. I like this game.
Oh, so who do you think?
Oh, you want my opinion?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to pick this guy.
All right. I personally think Dime City's going to do it, actually. And it's not like a revenge pick because you picked against us, but I just think that they're going strong. I think they have like 3 or 4 wins in a row. This is with Casey, who was on the offensive line. Now he plays quarterback. He's doing well. He's threw 3 touchdowns last week, shoved it in my face. So, yeah. I think I made my case. What about you, Furrukh?
I haven't seen the Titans play that much. I've seen more of Dime City on the forums and things like that. I think this is going to be one of those throwback games where the defenses and things like that are going to win the game. I'm going to go with the Titans.
All right. One final question. Well, Gary Smith, your older brother, your older, bigger, possibly faster brother, be playing this week?
You'll have to tune in to see.
Tune in. I don't really. Oh, actually, the game right after us. All right. Maybe I'll stick around.
All right, but anyway, so let's move on. So we want to. I was thinking, we interviewed a guy from your team, a guy from our team. I was thinking, like, if we're going to stick with this whole interview thing, how can we not get the captain of the defending champs? A team that's been to the championship 4 straight years. How can we not get him on?
I think they've been in the championship game every single year that you guys have been in the league, since the beginning of the league?
No, well, the first year myself and C Monster were on a different team that was horrible, like 1-8.
What team was that?
The Lions.
The Lions.
Yeah, it was.
The team now defunct.
Yeah, the people don't remember that. And then I was telling Kyle, it was people we didn't really know how we were playing with and things like that. So anyway, we forfeited a playoff game in the round robin.
Wow.
And myself, Dave, and Chris, who, along with our friend Habib Sheikh, formed the team. We were like, yeah, this is we're a little bit too competitive to be forfeiting. Losing is one thing, that's fine. And then,
But
the rest
not
of
even
the
giving yourself a chance. I mean, that's just unacceptable.
especially 7 o'clock in the morning. So.
Yeah, you wake up 7 in the morning. Unacceptable. So anyway, so we're going to interview Furrukh. Why? How could we not get this guy on here? So Haarris, you have the first question to ask him.
Now which one do I start off with? All right, I'll start off with a pretty easy one. You guys have had 4 championships, or been to 4 championships in the past 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, you guys have done it with, I'm 22 years old. You guys have done it with a rather elderly roster, I'll say.
Yeah.
Like,
mature.
yeah, okay. So you guys have done it the past 4 years. What's been, like, basically the secret to your success? I know the continuity is a big one.
I mean, we go by 2 models. Obviously, we're the U,
Mm-hmm.
and it's about the W.
Are all you guys Canes fans?
We more than Canes fans. It was created by a C Monster, who's Chris, because he saw the people that we were bringing in, and they have the little swag and the Beats headphones and the orange neon this and that, and young guys and old guys. So he thought it was appropriate, but I think it's really the fact that we have a good 10, 11 core guys that have been with us. Myself, Dave, Kilkenny, Chris, Greg, we're all from East Brunswick. We've known each other with, Kevin, Scholl, the most underrated player. in the league, Mr. MVP.
Wait, but he made the All-Star game last year. I don't know
but
if you can really say he's underrated at that
If you ask
point.
them who it is, they know who D'Lo is, they know who Abdul Salam is, they know who Mustafa is, and said, you know Kevin Scholzen is.
I don't know if people would still know Abdul Salam, to be honest.
But they know the name.
Yeah.
So I think it's due to the fact that we all went to, a lot of us went to East Brunswick. We actually sometimes call our high school plays and things like that, and it's unselfishness. You know, sometimes people have to take the back seat. Not everyone can go both ways, but you know, we play to win.
Absolutely. So some of the things that you just touched on, you know, really segues into my next question, which is, you have a lot of people from your high school team, which I think is just amazing. And you know, I'm wondering how you were able to just get all those guys to say, "Hey, come and play with us on our flag team." Being that, you know, everyone's life is so busy now, and maybe they have wife and kids, and you know what? I tried doing that last year. I tried, you know, my team, we went to a state final game. We played Giant Stadium last year, and we were not that talented, but we were tight knit, close group of guys, and it was hard for me to really get a bunch of people to just come and want to play in a flag league. How are you able to get people who play full contact football at a high level to come and play in this league?
Well, the thing is, most of them played in a Mercer County league, like GK, Greg Kohlheim, C Monster, Chris Hendricks, Dave Kilkenny, and it's easy for me to do that because all I have to do is walk down 4 houses, knock on their door, because Chris and Dave are my neighbors and they happen to be cousins, and then obviously, you know, Greg, and they played with Kevin in different leagues, and Randy, who's a dynamic player. Ironically, he went to high school, his dad went to high school with us, and he played on the team with us. So we had a father-son combination. So I think it's due to the fact that these guys have played together. They know that because of the, you know, the caliber of people that are asking them, they know that it's going to be, you know, a successful team, or, you know, somewhat successful team.
That's interesting. Like, from my experience from high school football, the East Brunswick Bears haven't been much talked about. They've been okay a few years, but nothing.
We're a little bit older than you.
That's true. But even then, like, my high school has had a lot of history in football. JP Stevens, not so much right now. Now they're just.
Ironically, you say that because when we were there, we had a streak against JP Stevens, which we beat them like 15 straight years. So
That's
but
not good.
obviously it's changed. And then Piscataway had taken over. You know, we're in the 90s and things like that. You know, and then East Brunswick fell off, and I think they won the state title in like 2004 and 2010.
Not in 2010.
No, a little earlier.
I don't remember, but well, that's really it. But back to going to your own team, you touched on Kevin Scholl being underrated
In my opinion.
player, but you guys are a team that's so loaded with talent. Who else would you say flies under the radar for your team?
A lot of people. I mean, you have like, our tight end this year, Ray Bryan. I think he has 5 touchdowns on the season.
I never heard of him.
Never heard of him. Devin Young, D-back. He start on any team. Receiver, running back, doesn't play on our team. But I did want to say one thing. When Black Mamba, Uzzer, came on our team, you know, obviously he's just being the focal point. Dave put him at linebacker. He's like, I never played linebacker. First 3 games, he had like 3 receptions. So it's difficult, but once again, in my opinion and my experience, winning cures all. If you're, I think every team, because we do have egos and things like that, every team like this is one bad game away from imploding due to all the competitiveness and the egos and things like that. But when it comes down to, you know, it's winning. That, you know, whether you have to, you know, sometimes you're having a bad day, you gotta, you know, take out. Sometimes people get injured and, you know, they don't know when to say when. So luckily we have that, you know, camaraderie. Where if you look at us, it looks like we're arguing half the time more than getting along, but that's our formula.
Yeah.
Testing on that last point, I can attest to that. I remember we played you guys 2 seasons ago, whatever it was. Maybe it was even last season. I'm not totally sure. But you guys hit a long pass, and I remember you getting on. One of your fellow linemen had made like a comment, was talking trash. Maybe he said something. really rude. I can't remember what it was, but I remember you yelling at him and like telling him to shut up, that you're the captain and everything. But hey, you guys ended up doing pretty well in that game.
I mean, I'm the captain, but like I said, obviously with the help of Dave and Chris, and we all give the input. Terrence, the quarterback, my fellow lineman, Big D, Darren Garcia, he retired. We have a Facebook page. He wrote this emotional thing, retired in July. We're like, we'll give him until July.
Wait,
he started practicing.
Retired from flag football?
He retired from this league, yes. He's getting older. We won the championship. He's like, I want to go out on the high horse. I texted him, I emailed him. I said, let's give him until July once we start posting pictures and seeing what's up. And, he's been, we didn't know him. He came through another gentleman that played with us, Pete. It was his cousin. Pete left the team. Darren stayed, and, we built that brotherhood and bond, and, that's a... Nope, didn't even know him, but it's still on the team.
But to be honest, one thing I do notice about your camaraderie, you guys are one of the most active teams on the forums. You guys post a lot.
Yeah.
But one thing that's always there is one or two guys always going Canes on the forum each and every time. No other team does that. I think that's kind of awesome. So
yeah, we do have Darren's pretty active on there. Even we see Kevin. Now Chris finally got a updated phone from 2014 to 1999, and Dave is obviously very vocal. I think it's due to the fact that honestly everyone that plays on our team does enjoy the league. Do they agree with everything that happens? Of course not. That's never possible. But overall, it's the enjoyment of the league, and I think we all have mutual respect for everyone. And in return, I think people do. Once they in the beginning, they thought they had the misconceptions and things like that. But once you get to play against us or talk and on the sidelines and things like that, it's a little different. So it's been a great experience.
I honestly can agree that you guys are very respectful and enjoy to play against. My former captain, who's on my team this year, Taki Kawaja, was disappointed that we weren't playing you guys and said how much of a fun team that you guys are to play against.
By the way, they did say that I was a better pass rusher when me and Kyle were on the same team. So
we talked about that before. So we'll leave that at.
Oh.
By the way, I tried to recruit him, so...
That's because you know me. It's hard to know all the brown guys. There's so many small brown guys in the league.
Yeah, I saw him in the masjid, and I said, oh, okay.
and I definitely thought about that too.
All right.
But I told you, next year, I might retire, so...
Oh, okay.
Haarris, you have another question.
All right. Is it me, or is it you right now?
Well, I don't know that we're going in any particular order.
Okay. So... Of course, you guys have been, once again, a team that's been around for 4 years. Would you guys say you have any rivals?
Of course, yes. I mean...
I don't mean to stir the pot, but would Union be one of them?
I'm pretty savvy when it comes to things, so I know what to say. But no, I'm being honest, yeah, Union. I mean, definitely. I mean, they won 3 championships, we won 2. They beat us in the 2 big games. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're our biggest rivals.
Did they shut you out in one championship game?
They did up until a garbage touchdown.
I remember that.
Where we did it was 6 throwbacks and tip and I just got off the field. I was like, well, at least we didn't get shut out. But yeah, that was so yeah. I mean, Union without a doubt. I mean, you have Rajab, Naeem, obviously Mustafa. We all miss Kimo, who's obviously a great player in the league, but
to be honest, I don't miss him. I don't miss him one bit.
And then the other guys, Islam, and then you have Afe, and then they added James, Eric Blunt, Dominic, and things like that. So also they have a lot of Muhammad Fahmy and stuff like that. So it's always and Muhammad Hassan. It's always a love fest before the game, and then after the game and during the game, it's a little bit different. Our games tend to go down to the wire, controversial, things like that. But at the end of the day, they're definitely. But I would say that the Spartans have given us fits sometimes in matchups. Swag is up there. Code Red up until this year, we've never beat them by more than 2 touchdowns. So they always. I think it's.
So that's what constitutes a rivalry. By how many touchdowns you beat them by?
No, it's the fact. The rivalry is by the fact that we play.
Who plays you better?
And of course, 2 teams that are not in the league anymore, or one team, the Outlaws. it was great fun to play against them. They really.
I think Furrukh said something that you guys would like. Did they beat you in the regular season, Outlaws?
Actually, it's funny because one of the most fun games that myself and any of our teammates, we admit this, that we had was a loss in overtime to them. It was a crazy game, and even last year.
And that was regular season.
Overtime.
and even last year they were up 7-0 with 2 minutes left in the playoff game, and then GK was our quarterback at the time. He got hurt. Dave took over. Marched him down the field 7-6. We made the 2-point conversion and we won the game. So, I mean, I would say those teams are definitely have been rivalry because the thing is when you play, actually it's more that we're playing against the same people. That's what creates a rivalry.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, so you young guys who are in there, keep playing in the league, and I guarantee you that you'll grow to like it even more and more. But anyway, so I want to ask you a question. So I had heard about some information that Spartans was using a youth football, and some people on your team took issue with that, and let's just be clear about this. The league has no rule against using a youth football. It's just kind of one of those, from what I heard and from what I've seen, kind of one of those unspoken things that you should just use a regular sized football and not a youth sized football. And from what I heard, that some people on your team took issue with that.
I actually heard about this after the game. I didn't even, because I don't play defense, so I don't really see. I just saw the ball go up in the air. They scored. They and then they kept marching and scored. I just saw the ball go up. I didn't see the size of the ball, and plus maybe during the rain. But yeah, some guys said it looks like they were using youth football, and like you said, there's no rules as to what size they're using. Did it have an effect on the game? I don't really think so.
It might, and why I say that is because one of the guys on our team is related to the quarterback of the Spartans, and he said that he was fumbling a lot and was throwing a lot of interceptions because he could not grip the ball properly, bigger sized ball. So maybe it did affect the game, and I was told to make an appeal that, everyone, if they can, should use regular sized balls. And
well, to find regular sized balls, there's NFL, there's college, there's high school.
And you're absolutely right about that. I think that's really where it gets tricky. So, but hey, concern I have, we're bringing it up, and I think you can definitely. I don't know how small the ball is, but if it's one of those little kitty-sized youth balls, I mean, it wasn't
like the Giants and Jets ball that I used to be able to throw like 10 15. No, I don't think it was like that. Like I said, it looked like a pigskin ball, but the size was.
So it was legit.
Yeah, it was mentioned to me afterwards, so I didn't see it.
Okay, Haarris, I think you got a big question that you want to ask.
Well, this is actually probably like the least loaded question I've asked. Kilkenny. Dave Kilkenny was one of the top quarterbacks in the league for it's a long run. It's a decent stretch.
Yeah.
What prompted his move to wide receiver basically past year and a half, I'd say?
Well, actually, he
won the championship and on a game-winning drive last year.
He's done this musical chairs a couple times. The second season, when we lost to Union in the championship game, someone else took over as a quarterback. Didn't work out. They went back, and then even last year, GK Greg, who actually was the quarterback in high school, ironically, and Dave was the flanker and running back. At that time took over, but he hurt himself in the Outlaws game, and Dave took over again. Honestly, probably a better question for Dave, but I just think that he said that he just didn't feel like playing quarterback.
So this was not a captain's decision. This was not a decision.
Well, I would say that if it came, I would say we're more of a tri-captain. Myself, Chris, and Dave, and I definitely not. Without a doubt like that. So we, discuss things, go over, we have 3 people, so it's a 2-1 split sometimes. But I mean, with all due respect to Dave, we obviously, what the joke is that, okay, so when's Dave going to take over? Because it's happened a few times and things like that. And unfortunately, Greg got hurt. Greg would have hopefully definitely led us to the championship. So this year, he was just like, I want to play a little bit more, because he plays in another league and things like that. You get a little older, even though good shape and things like that. So, running around as quarterback and sometimes running for your life when we're not blocking that well, and then he plays special teams, he kicks, so it takes a lot of toll out. So he wanted to, make a change, and so Chris reached out to Terrence Highsmith.
Where'd you guys find him?
He actually is a friend of Chris is friends with his dad for the last 10, 15 years from Highland Park. And he's known about this league because, when they get together, hang out, they're like, oh, okay, we're in this league and things like that. And he, of course, saw the videos and was intrigued like that. Oh, last year, you guys have stats too, and you have videos, and you played in a nice turf field and things like that. And, of course, when we had the championship, so it kind of intrigued him more. And, we brought him on and things like that. And, he's doing, obviously, we're 7-0, he's doing a hell of a job. We took what he had and his knowledge and combined it and collaborated with what we've done. And, so far, so good. He actually did get, he pulled a muscle in one of the games, and Dave came in and led him to a touchdown. And, of course, people looked at like, is there a quarterback controversy? And we're like, no. So it's good because even, like I said, GK, we have 3 quarterbacks that,
3 good quarterbacks at that.
Yeah. So that we trust and things like that. So yeah, that's really the reason. So
That's good to hear.
Great stuff. I think this was phenomenal insight. If there was to be a book written about this league, I think you could do it.
One of the JAMS historians.
Yeah, just bringing. We didn't know about teams such as the Lions and all this stuff that you're telling us about now. And
you always have to remember where you come from because it puts perspective. So when you're down that 14 seconds or that 12-0, or you lose 3 in a row, you're like, it could be worse, and it was. I still have the Lions jersey. You gotta look at it too.
So we can think back to GPAC and realize that I'm happy. Last week we already eclipsed a better record than I ever had with GPAC. We never won more than 2 games. So now we finally were 2 and we have 1 tie. So we're a little bit better than GPAC thus far. But anyway, I think this is a great show. A lot of insight, a lot of good conversation. Do you have anything else to add? Any final comments that you want to say?
I just wanted to thank you guys for bringing me on the show, and good luck to everyone in the league for the playoffs and things like that, and just hopefully everyone's safe and
Absolutely, I agree with that 100%.
This is basically an important week for a lot of teams. This week has a lot of playoff implications.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a fun week.
I agree 100%, and we hope that everyone, is very safe this week, and we hope that more so than anything, everyone, because we're doing this for fun, more so than anything. We're not getting paid to do this. No one's getting paid to do this, at least I don't think.
Maybe we should talk to the league about
Maybe
that.
you guys are paying people, I don't know. But anyway, this is for fun, so at the end of the day, go out there and have fun. Don't ever let your emotions overtake you and to do something stupid. Just go out there, have fun, and obviously, being competitive and trying to win makes it fun. So it's another episode of JAMS Football Power Rankings, where me and Haarris, I'm Kyle from
I'm
Titans,
Haarris.
VS. We're signing off, and Furrukh, our brother from the U, the Hurricanes, he's signing off as well. Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you.